I just staring at your beautiful face, Dan, is just it's really getting me. Wow, you're just I can't tell if your eyes are moving, but I believe they're staring into my soul. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Objectively Bad podcast. My name is Chad. This is my boy Dan. He's scaring me a little bit. Dan, do you have anything to say for yourself right now?
I am currently wearing a lot of headwear.
Yeah, you are. Little too much head over there for Dan.
Yeah. Well, I could never get enough, but
ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So for context, and this doesn't matter at all, but I'm going to tell you anyways because I like you and I feel like you deserve my context. I have
Is that
it's currently
me or the audience.
The audience. I don't care about you. So it's currently 9:30 a.m. for me in the Australian wilderness, whatever. I've slept approximately 1 hour. I've been up talking to Chad and another one of our friends. I've taken a few swigs of the alcohol, and currently I don't know where I am. So this is going to be a great episode.
This is going to be unhinged. This is going to be Dan at his peak, at his best.
I don't know about that, but
this might be Dan at his best.
Yeah,
when he's at his worst.
I'm coming off of like a few days ago. I did a 23-hour video grind, so my sleep's been fucked from that already. Then we're coming into. Let's get into it. What are we talking about, Chad?
We're talking about The Boys. Season finale came out last Thursday. The Boys is a television show, Dan.
Cool.
Written and produced by Eric Kripke, who's a guy, about superheroes, but kind of the concept of like superheroes, but what if it was real life and like people who are in power are generally shitty. It's based off like a comic book. So like real life, yeah. It's not, you don't really have your Supermans, your Batmans, your righteous people. You have slightly less righteous people. You got Homelander. You got the Deep.
Tech Knight.
You have Tech Knight. Oh, well, Tech Knight's an upstanding citizen, and we have nothing. He's done. We don't know of anything. We'll get into it.
Zendaya.
Oh yeah, you're so right. Wow. For a second, Dan, I was like, that has nothing to do with this.
It does.
It does have something to do with it.
Little inside joke. I guess.
Little inside joke. Here's the deal, everyone. We're gonna be talking about this a lot today, but we'll probably divulge till the end. Kind of depends on how long we go for. We're talking about The Boys. If you're avoiding spoilers, go watch the show and come back. I'm hoping this will come out like, I don't know, like 5 days after it came out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've watched it. Get yourself caught up. We're going to talk all about this season.
Yeah, we have a friend that hasn't caught up yet because he refuses to watch TV for some reason.
And we're mad.
And he's kind of...
We're angry.
Shitty for him.
You know who you are.
Yeah,
you know who you are.
He was speaking directly to you.
Get some help. Anyone else listening? This isn't to you. Get some help, buddy.
Yeah.
Or if you haven't caught up, go watch it. It's fun. It's not for everyone, I'll admit. But it's good. I enjoy it. So, Dan, overall impressions, how we feeling?
Yeah, so season 4, I personally very much enjoyed it. As we have talked about in this podcast before, I am very easy to please, so I was probably always going to enjoy it. But even still, I thought it was a good season. There has been a lot of discourse on it being a little bit hateful on some certain groups of people that it always has been, but it was a bit more blatant this season with the politics, we could say.
Yeah, that'd be true.
As someone who doesn't subscribe to the ideas of racism, I thought it was a pretty good season because it makes fun of people with weird worldviews that probably shouldn't, have those worldviews. And it's just it's kind of fun to see those people get made fun of because they're kind of stupid both in and out of the TV show. Outside of that, I think there was some good character development. Specifically, I think A-Train had a really good season.
A-Train had some good character development, yeah.
But even like the lesser so righteous or like redeemed characters. There was definitely some good arcs going on. Like the Deep, everyone loves the Deep for being
Whatever that
a
is.
comedic prowess.
The thing I love about the Deep is you take him out and the story's not at all changed, but it's entertaining.
Yeah. He's very much unneeded, but he adds a lot to the show somehow.
Somehow. I think it adds to like the ambiance of the show, and like it's good to drill home this like, yeah, these people are shitty people.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's not that intelligent. He's not like he didn't get here because of like the great things he's done for society. He's here because he's a dick. Yeah. But he's powerful physically.
I think also it brings a slightly lighter-hearted tone to it when he's like doing dumb shit, but also yeah, it shows that not like with a lot of like the more evil characters or just characters in general, there's a lot of like mind games with like politics and like just intellectual type shit. It's kind of funny just to see a dumb character do dumb shit. Because it's pretty realistic, because there are a lot of stupid people in the world, so seeing that represented on screen is nice at times as well.
It really is. It is very nice for that reason.
Yeah. And then, well, we haven't even spoken about the boys yet, the group that the show's named after.
True.
Very interesting season for them. Definitely a lot happened.
A lot of I would it's a weird season because I'd say a lot of stuff, and at the same time not a lot of stuff happened until like the very end, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happens for the boys. The most part is like they go and they're like, oh, we have this way to kill Homelander, and then it doesn't turn out. And then they're like, we have this thing, and then it doesn't turn out. Like, I think the first couple episodes are like only kind of intertwined with each other. Because they do kind of jump back and forth of like, we have this thing, and then they go, nah, we don't have this thing anymore.
I just got to say personally, prayers out to my boy Huey. He's had a rough one. He's had a real rough one. Oh my god.
I've been seeing a lot of people who are saying like, yeah, do the writers hate Huey? For anyone not caught up, Huey is one of the main characters. He's actually, but again, just general spoiler on all of it. Huey is like the character that starts off the show, and he's just kind of a guy. He does some like tech stuff for them, but he's just joined the boys out of like spite, I guess.
Yeah.
Or out of hatred of Soups, which is kind of what they are. And this season, let's see, his dad got sick and then eventually dies. And that's his arc for like the first half of the season.
Well, it's not that his dad just dies. He's about to die. Then Huey's mother, who left him when he was a child, came back into his life, gave his dad temporary V, which is the drug that gives superheroes their powers.
No, I think it's just V.
Oh, well, V.
It's just Compound V.
Compound V. His dad then comes back to life, gets powers to basically phase through objects, ends up killing multiple people. Then they eventually manage to stop him and die, and he dies. So that was traumatic as fuck. Clearly,
that's like 5 episodes. I think it's either 4 or 5 episodes of like. Of the 8 is just him doing that, and then there's like 2 or 3 episodes in a row where like he gets raped essentially, he's
just in a BDSM dungeon.
Yeah, one episode he's in a BDSM dungeon. One episode, or I think technically probably 2 episodes
over the course of 2.
He has sex with who he thinks is his girlfriend and then fiance. And then turns out it's a shapeshifter. Rough one for Huey.
Technically,
I would say it's technically, it's not technically consensual. It's
unbeknownst,
it's like
having
maybe
sex
the
with
latest
someone
form
that you don't know.
But it's do the writers hate Jack Quaid?
They might.
Or like,
there's a chance.
Or like, has he had it too? I'd say has he had it too good? I don't know if the character of Huey's ever had it good. His character starts off with immediately losing his girlfriend in a kind of horrifying way.
Well, now 2 of his partners are dead because, again, spoilers. If you haven't clicked off the video at this point, you're just stupid. But Victoria Newman, end of the season, got a bit
Jack
done
Owen.
over, got a bit killed. And obviously he dated her for a bit. And also it's his partner in real life. So that would have been a terrifying scene to film for him.
Wait, really? I didn't know that they were
Yeah, Jack Quaid and
dating around.
Victoria Newman's actress date in real life.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I don't know that.
So the scene where
did
she's
they
like,
date at all during the show, or were they more partners in the sense of like
I'm pretty sure they dated.
business partners? Oh, really?
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure at the start of season 2 or season 3, he was dating Victoria Newman.
I thought he was just like business partners with her. I think he was always with Starlight throughout the show. Dan will look it up.
Maybe I'm wrong. They said partners, and I just assumed dating. I guess it would make sense if it was only political.
I think he meant partners as in like they worked in a business. Like I think he worked on her campaign in season 3, maybe season 2. I can't remember. I think it was season 3.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I think he was on her campaign.
Oh, well.
But I guess we can get to that. The finale, whew, that was exciting. That was very exciting. I think the season as a whole, kind of a slow burn, for the most part. Like it's hitting at stuff, it's getting to stuff, but nothing really happens. And then they hit episode 8, like the finale, and it just skyrockets.
Yeah, pretty much.
What you scrolling there, Dan? I can see through them sunglasses.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here with the Victoria Newman thing.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it was like they were business partners, not like actual.
They were close on a personal level, and he even took care of Victoria's daughter. So
yeah, but not like. Well, he dated Starlight the entire season or the entire show.
I'm pretty sure they weren't together for a bit. I don't know. It's been over the course of like 4 or 5 years. I know it's long. I'm not drunk, but I've had alcohol. I'm tired. Okay, just let me be.
I don't know how you got convinced into this.
I just swear I remember at the start of the season they were like really, really close, and Starlight wasn't in the picture for a bit, so I just assumed they were together because they talked about being partners.
I think it's that. No, I think I meant partners in the business sense.
Oh well.
In the coworker sense. Anyways, did you, when you going into that final episode, did you expect any of that to happen?
No. I expected. So if you don't know what happened in the final episode, the main big thing is that Victoria Newman was killed by Butcher because Butcher gave in to Joe Kessler, who was his own subconscious, basically, and it gave him powers.
He gave in to like the V that's in his system,
which had like
that gave him powers, which is shown as Joe Kessler.
Yeah, I expected him to give in. I didn't expect him just to walk in and kill Victoria like that.
Oh yeah,
that was
not
wild.
whatsoever.
And the thing I really didn't expect was the ending of the season, where all the boys seemingly try to escape, flee the country to get out because the world is now being ruled, or the US presidency is now pretty much going to Homelander. So they were trying to escape, but then all the boys get captured. They get, apart from Starlight gets away.
Starlight gets away.
All the others get captured. Which I didn't see coming. That was pretty, I don't know. I'm very interested to see how they get out of that situation in season 5.
I think, I don't know if I want to say this was the worst season so far, because I don't think it was bad whatsoever. I quite enjoyed it.
I think I would say it was.
It probably was the worst season so far, and I think it's that, honestly, it almost feels like a part 1 to a part 2. I think next season is going to, like, bang off.
Yeah, because I feel like the first 3 seasons, there was a very clear story narrative in each one of them. Like, season 3, you had the whole Soldier Boy, Homelander sort of, like, not dichotomy, but, like, relationship going on. Season 2 was Stormfront, that was pretty obvious. And then season 1 was just setting up the whole thing with, like, superheroes bad, Homelander bad. This season, like you said, feels like a part 1 to what's about to happen next season, which is going to be shit really hitting the fan. Although in saying
Yeah.
that, I think this season arguably had the best episode in the whole entire show.
Which the final episode?
No, the one where Homelander goes back to his facility where he was a child.
Yes.
At least the best
That one
acting
was
performance.
interesting.
Like his Anthony Stark, what's his name?
Anthony Starr.
Star, not Stark. Yeah, Anthony Stark.
Yeah. Star.
Incredible. Was I say Stark again?
You said Stark again, yeah.
Fuck's sake.
How dare you?
Anthony Starr.
Yeah.
No K. Incredible performance.
No H in Anthony too. It's Antony or like Anthony and
fuck his stupid name. Anthony Stark. I don't give a shit. Great
Hey,
acting
you shouldn't
performance.
be mad. He's one of your own.
No, fuck off. Great acting performance. Brilliant episode when he goes back to his home facility where he grew up and basically lasers a man while he masturbates. That's all you need to know about it, really.
Yeah.
Intense scene.
It's the entire episode is kind of tense because he essentially walks into this like bunker where there's a bunch of scientists, and how Homelander grew up was he was like a test subject as a child, never really had much of a normal childhood. They just ran tests on him in this bunker. There's one. The hood came off. Slowly closed. Well, I guess if you're listening to this, for reference, Dan is wearing sunglasses. Let's see if I can decipher everything he's wearing. A bandana, a beanie, a hat, and then one or two more beanies.
Close.
Is that accurate? Okay.
Sunglasses, a bandana, a beanie, a hat, another hat, then a beanie again, and then I was wearing a hood on my dressing gown.
Okay. We got a lot going on.
We do.
But anyways, the episode is him going back, and you can see all of the researchers are tense because, like, respectively, they kind of tortured the kid. And to some degree, you can argue, like, it's not their fault. They were kind of just doing their job. It's kind of, it's very much living in the gray because he also comes and, like,
it's like the
murders
same
all
argument of
them.
saying, like, the people who ran the camps in Nazi Germany were just doing their
Well,
job.
yeah.
They still did horrible things to people.
They still did do horrible things. So, you know, no one's really great. Homelander's not exactly a good person.
No, what do you mean? He's a symbol of America.
He's a symbol of freedom. I'm starting to think Homelander's bad. Do you think that's the case?
Nah, white people can't be bad.
Oh shit. Oh no. Cancel him, folks. Throw him out there. No, he comes back. He kills the first guy by putting him in this this heat chamber that he got put in as a kid. And he's telling the story. He's like, yeah, you know, I used to watch you like make this shot with a trash can. So let's have a friendly wager. Let's both make this, make a couple shots. And then he just throws him in the heat thing and just kills him. And then he has one of the guys masturbate in front of everyone, and then he lasers him right in the dick.
Yeah. And then a nice shot where like it goes through the hole of where he was lasered. It's real aesthetic.
And there's just like a hole. Yeah. Just nothing's left. Yeah, and then he talks to like his quote unquote mother, who is not his actual mother, but like the person who's kind of a caretaker and I think the leader of the lab. And by the end of it, you just see that he's killed literally everyone except for her. And he's just covered in blood. And
then he laughs like the little psycho boy.
And then he laughs like a crazy man. Because he's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because there were multiple times this season where, at least in my opinion, maybe it's not real, but what I think is that while Homelander still will probably choose to fuck up or torture psychologically anyone that he wants to, the people that stand up to him, he usually doesn't kill. I've noticed there's a recurring trend where if someone stands up to Homelander or like doesn't bow down to him in some sort of way, he will usually treat them with some amount of respect. For example, in that episode, the only person who he didn't kill was the one woman that wasn't afraid of her.
True.
There was a episode in season 2 or 3 where Huey stands up to Homelander, and he could have easily killed him, but he just didn't.
He just doesn't. Yeah.
There's another scene in season 4. I can't remember who the character was, but again, someone stood up to Homelander, and he doesn't actually kill them. He just sort of gets pissed. Like it's it happens a lot with the new smart chick. What's her name?
Sage.
Sage. Sage is a new superhero that joined this season. Most intelligent woman in the world. And because she's so intelligent. Person. Sorry, I did it as well. Fuck.
That's a thing in the show.
Yeah.
That actually, it's kind of funny. Yeah.
I was thinking it the other way around. I did it the wrong way. Because I knew it's a big thing. Yeah, she makes it out like, don't call me the most intelligent woman, call me the most intelligent person. And I just did it. Damn, I'm Homelander. Fuck.
Damn.
Yeah, no, so.
Look. Sorry, I was just going to make a Kiwi reference.
Stop it.
Anthony Starr's from New Zealand. And so is Dan. And we can't forget that. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, so she stands up to him quite a lot because she's smarter than him, so she can afford to be like, you need me. And he doesn't kill her, surprisingly, when even though he definitely could have multiple times because she's a weak as shit.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
Worked out very well.
So I think if you can prove to Homelander you're not scared of him, or at least are not scared enough to just like listen to him no matter what, he won't kill you. He may fuck you up psychologically a little bit, but he won't kill you. So
I mean, potentially he might.
The way I just see it is that he's so fed up with people just doing everything he says no matter what.
Yeah.
That when he sees someone that thinks for their own, he's like, okay, you're worthy to at least stay alive.
Yeah, I also think earlier seasons he was more like, he had that more of a like, oh, you'll stand up to me, I'll actually respect you. I think now at this point, if you're in his way, he's just gonna kill you.
Season 5 for sure.
Maybe the other way around. I'm not entirely. Yeah, I think going into the next season, I think he's just finally like, you know what? Screw it. I mean, he kind of did it this season where he realized Huey was listening, and he's like, fuck this, I'm just killing him. Because like everyone's like, no, he has dirt on us. It's gonna ruin it. We can't kill the boys. Like they're gonna drop stuff. And then he's just like, you know what? What are they gonna do? Kill me? They can't do it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna kill Huey. He didn't. That was a tense scene.
Yeah.
Lasered some ice skaters, which is sad.
Did you see the theory that the reason why Homelander is scared of / doesn't ever kill Huey is because of Huey's shampoo?
No, please enlighten me.
So I don't remember the exact details of it because I saw it a while ago. But there's a small little dumb theory going around that Huey, and it's mentioned in the show that Huey uses like a kid's shampoo with a specific like scent or something. I don't know why he does, but it's mentioned in the show.
Sure, he just does.
And I think it's something to do with like the fact that like they're trying to make it out that it's Homelander's kryptonite, this like shampoo flavor or something. And because Huey always wears it, whenever Homelander comes face to face with Huey, he never kills him. Like I said before, there's that scene in season 2 or 1 or something where they're face to face in the Vault Tower, and Homelander doesn't kill him and he backs down, and it's because of the shampoo. And also in the scene in season 4 we were just talking about where Huey's in the vent, people say the reason how he knew it was Huey is because he could smell the shampoo. So he wanted to kill him because he was scared of him.
That's so funny. I have not heard this theory, and I love that.
It's really good.
I don't think it's real.
There's another. I think it's like 2 or 3 more instances where it was brought up, but I can't remember them off the top of my head.
Interesting. I love little theories like that. I don't think it's real, but I love that. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Homelander's weakness is kids' shampoo.
Maybe it's like the shampoo that he like used as a kid.
No.
Kind of a thing, or
just speak for a bit. I want to watch this and then I'm gonna give the other examples.
Cool. Just
because it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I could ramble on for a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see where it goes with the next season. I think this obviously set up a lot of stuff. I think we'll finally get to where it really gets interesting, at least in the sense of versus this season, is we'll finally just see him unhinged and just allowed to kill everyone. I'm honestly kind of shocked that they didn't kill the boys. Although I think it's for the most part, it's like, well, you can't kill them. Maybe they'll try and get dirt out of them. I don't know. But it's I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm interested to see Butcher with powers like fully. It's also interesting that's different powers from when he had Compound V.
Yes.
Which I don't quite understand. You have any theories on that, Dan?
I didn't listen to a single thing you said, but I do have more theories about Huey shampoo.
Awesome. Go back to Huey shampoo.
So the other two instances are, well, the main other instances that kind of makes it a lot more plausible in the dumbest way. I think it's season 1. It's the first time that Huey and Homelander meet. And when they meet, Homelander looks at Huey and he looks kind of concerned. Like he looks a bit off. And then moments later, it's a scene where he baptizes Huey and he holds him underwater for a lot longer than everyone else.
Yeah.
And this is before he knows anything about Huey, that he's working with the boys or anything. And he holds Huey under the water for so much longer than anyone else. And people are saying it's so he can rinse the shampoo out of his hair. And then there's also the scene in season 3 with the hero-gasm, which is a hero orgy.
Sure. Goated episode.
Where Soldier Boy and Butcher are attacking Homelander. And Homelander seems to be still fending them off just fine. And then Huey teleports in with his powers, and then he starts to struggle and looks concerned because of the shampoo.
I'm here for it.
Really dumb theory, but I like
really dumb.
Stupid
but man,
stuff.
whoever came up with
a
it.
stupid kryptonite like that would be something that Homelander would have, in my opinion. It sounds like
It really is, because his kryptonite is like his ego, but even more of that, it's like his weird like mother. He's got mommy issues.
Yeah, he also can't see through zinc, so there's that.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a Superman, like he can't see through lead kind of a thing.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, you were talking about how Butcher has different powers now compared to previously.
I just thought about that. Like,
I don't know.
He's got a different power set than, because when he was on Compound V, I feel like he was just strong and he had laser eyes.
He had the Homelander power set, pretty much.
He pretty much could he fly? I don't
think
he could
think
fly.
we ever saw it. No.
I think he was just really strong and he had laser eyes. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
But now he's got
tentacles.
Like tentacles. Well, the thing is, I will say, is that it might not be like just V. It might be like a V'd up tumor or something like that.
Could be,
I don't quite know. Is throughout the season, you would occasionally see like a little slug crawling around his little brain or crawling around his body, like inside his body.
Could be a parasite as well.
So it's possible that there's a parasite that he just learned how to control.
Yeah. Or the parasite controlled him.
True.
Or for all we know, it could even just be the same power set, but it was that part of it was just dormant until this point.
Yeah.
There's no way to really know until
It's,
season 5 comes out.
It'll be very curious to see what actually happens.
Because he's seemingly that the new power that Butcher has is very strong. Victoria Newman has one of the best defenses, had one of the best defenses in the boys' universe, and he ripped her into like nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think he alone will be strong enough to beat Homelander. There'll have to be something else.
No.
Don't know what that. I think Soldier Boy will probably come back and help.
I think Soldier Boy. I mean,
he was teased.
I'm curious to see what happens with Soldier Boy, because he was teased. In case anyone missed it, because I know I was talking to someone and we were like, "Oh yeah, Soldier Boy came back," and he was like, "What?" Because it was kind of like an end credits thing. Homelander found Soldier Boy, but the question is, what happens with Soldier Boy?
I think Homelander wakes him up because he has massive mommy issues, but he clearly has daddy issues as well.
He clearly does have daddy issues.
So I think he wakes him up to try and rekindle something. And if Soldier Boy is the same Soldier Boy that we knew from season 3, he's not gonna.
I bet he is.
He ain't gonna deal with that shit at all.
I almost wonder if they wake him up, but they try to like put mind control on him or something like that.
They
Like I
could.
could see that where
Well,
they
'cause
like
we have
they
the-
fuck with his mind so that they could control him.
I haven't
There's a
watched
person
Gen
from
V.
Gen V.
I haven't watched it, but yeah, the girl from Gen V can control minds, so or
Yeah.
charm people. I guess is more what it is.
Yeah.
So she could maybe
Sug-
do. I don't know if that would
things.
work on a soup like him. He might have like resistance to that.
No, I would imagine it could still work. I don't know.
It's probably individual.
I just started watching Gen V because I kept not watching it. And then I finished The Boys and I was like, I should watch Gen V. I kind of looked up what happens, so I kind of know what happens in Gen V. You don't need to watch Gen V to watch this season. There's a couple things that you might not know, but they're really insignificant details. And they kind of explain it in the Boys anyways, but I think the problem is I think she'd have to be with him like all the time. Like
Right.
constantly suggesting things.
Okay, that'd be be a bit irritating, but possible.
I think it's that she has to touch the person and then
Yeah.
suggest things.
It is.
So she'd have to constantly be there, and he can. I don't think it would work very well. But they could make like a Neuralink chip or that kind of thing.
Elon and the boys.
Drug him up. Shocked they haven't made fun of him already in The Boys.
I guess Tech Knight would kind of be. I know he's more like an Iron Man clone, but you could argue he's an Elon
Yeah.
clone as well.
Kind of. But all right, Dan, I got some questions here. Let's talk new characters.
Sure thing, buddy boy.
We got a hat off.
I took off too many. Hold up.
Oh, he took off too many. He's got to readjust.
The hat was suctioned to the beanie. Okay, we're good now. Let's go.
One hat on, one hat is back off. New characters. We have Sister Sage.
Yes.
We have Tech Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, what is
Firecracker.
Firecracker? I want to call her Sparkler.
Joe.
Who else is new? Joe Kessler. Samir, but he's not really that important.
His leg got chopped off. Oh well.
His leg gets chopped off. I'd say those are the four that we could talk about. What do we think about Firecracker?
Well, technically, Black Noir is also kind of.
Oh yes,
new.
I was gonna say Black Noir is new because it's not actually Black Noir; it's an actor. Let's talk about that.
It's the same
I
actor
think
as
that's
Black
fucking
Noir, though.
hilarious. That's the best part. So it's in the end of season 3, Homelander kills Black Noir. Also, Black Noir never spoke.
No. He could have.
Homelander
Well, he
kills
spoke
Black
back in the
Noir.
day, back in like the 60s or 50s.
Yeah.
But yeah, something. He had an accident or something. I don't remember what it was.
In accident, doesn't speak. I don't really remember. It's in season 3. So once after Black Noir dies, Vought kind of just puts someone else in a Black Noir suit, and then because it's all PR, all they do is PR. They don't actually do anything. Especially like Black Noir and the Deep in this season do absolutely. There's no like. I think they fight like once.
Yep.
But the fact that they got Black Noir, first of all, the same actor I think is great. But the premise is that it's just an actor soup who like is trying to fill a role is so funny.
He's like, what is my motive? I can't understand what this
What's my
character means.
motivation?
It's
And like
amazing.
I think it's great he was ready to quit, and then the Deep described Noir to him. And described the 2 words of murder boner of like he enjoys killing so much that it like kind of gets him a little chuffed. I think is hilarious because they show it at the last episode. He's fighting and he just whispers, he goes, oh, "Murder boner."
He's really doing method acting. I respect it.
He's method acting. You gotta love it. I appreciated that because they didn't just like bring back Black Noir and like it was obviously someone different, but they just didn't do anything with it. They actually did something with it, which I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah. A lot of good meme-worthy moments as well. Like in the second episode or something when they kill those 3 people, he's like, "Yo, this is so fucked up, man."
Mhm.
Great.
Great.
I'm interested.
What
Do you
we
think
of
he
Firecracker?
survives next
Oh, sorry.
season? By the way,
Oh God. I don't know. I feel
Dude.
like at this point, Black Noir is kind of inconsequential.
honestly, I don't know if any super survives next season.
Well, so I think that's the really big thing is like, I think like this season, Newman died, and I think that's it.
Newman,
Random minor characters
Huey's dad.
died. Huey's dad and Tech Knight,
Tech Knight, yeah.
who was introduced this season. I think we're gonna see a lot of deaths in the last season.
Yep, I agree.
I have no idea if he survives. I could see him dying. I could see him not dying. I don't know. Dan, what do we think about Firecracker?
Firecracker is the American dream woman to someone
yeah.
who lives in the bottom, is it 15 states? Is that what it's called?
The South?
Yeah. Well, what's the
bottom
what's the name of the
states.
states when the Civil War happened? When they called like the lower.
Oh, it's the South.
I think I'm just thinking of the lower 48. That's just the continental US.
That's just
the Confederate
yeah.
states, we could say.
The Confederate States.
Yeah. So
the Bible below the Bible Belt.
Yeah. Attractive redheaded woman that has her bazungas out a bit more than most other people.
Sure.
And speaks about
and is super patriotic.
Yeah, and talks about very Republican matters on live TV. Which hey, that exists in real world. So
yeah,
very accurate
much.
Character.
And
she played her well.
Pretty accurate character. She played her well. I think what's really funny is the actress is like nothing like her. I mean, you should argue that hopefully a lot of the actors on The Boys are nothing like their character. But like, so her name is Valerie Curry. I'm pretty sure she's gay.
Yeah.
And like, I actually kind of little fun fact for you. I went to Denver's Comic-Con, the Fan Expo, and Anthony Starr, Colby Minifree, and Valerie Curry were all on the panel.
Ooh.
Colby Minifree's Ashley.
Oh, Ashley.
Ashley. Talk about that. It was good. And the panel was interesting because they didn't talk about The Boys like at all. Which kind of sucked. I don't mind not talking about it because it's like, I think to some degree they don't want to talk about it because I think at that point the 6th episode had just come out, but it's like they don't want them accidentally spoiling like the finale, which is fair. But they talked about like castmates, but like in a really loose and boring, like vague sense. They did they tried to do the wedding shoe game, which is usually you get the groom and bride or just the two people. And they sit back to back and they both have a shoe and one's like one person's shoe, one's the other person's shoe. And it's like, who's more likely to fall asleep first? And you go this person and you kind of see if they agree. You see if they differ.
Who's most likely to, basically.
Who's most likely to? And the problem is they'd ask a question every once in a while and they're like, out of us three or just generally? Because I think they're like, who pulls the most pranks? And all three of them went, yeah, none of us do that. But it was fine. But it was interesting. You
Who even pulls pranks anymore? Like,
yeah. Apparently Jack and Jack Quaid and Carl Urban. Apparently they're the pranksters.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
But mostly to each other, apparently.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah. But Valerie Curry, who plays Firecracker, is like she's gay, which is, very opposite to her character. She like gardens and like bakes and crochets and shit and like. And in the show, very different, very nice.
Breastfeeds Homelander, so yeah, very different.
She does do that. Very different. Panel was cool.
I gotta say, out of context, talking about The Boys makes you sound like you're the most degenerate viewer of TV ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's a guy that gets
it really makes
taken
you sound
down
like
by a giant penis. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of weird stuff in the show we just kind of accept.
There's a lot of weird
at this
stuff.
point.
Yeah, I'll talk to some people, and I feel like you kind of go one or either way at this point, where they go, man, they really overdid it. Like, God, it's just, I can't even watch it. And I'm sitting here like, I'm so desensitized.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the second episode with the guy who can like clone himself, and he was like running a train on himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sat there and I went, whatever.
That one kind of got me because it was just like a lot happening all at once.
There was a lot happening.
But yeah, I'm very desensitized to if it's a gore, I don't care at all. Depending on how intense the sexual stuff is, like that scene kind of got me.
I mean, it'll get you, but I don't sit here and go, man, that episode ruined.
No, I don't care
you
at
get
all.
a couple minutes afterwards, and you're just like, all right.
Again, at the end of the day, they're sort of reflecting reality, and as much as people don't like to admit it, there's a lot of fucked up things in reality and fucked up things that people do. Probably way worse than in the show.
I mean, it does kind of beg a question that no real other superhero genre tends to do of like, they don't really tend to touch sex.
Yeah.
I mean, they do sometimes. Problem is, honestly, a lot of times when they do it, it gets really dark. And so I think a lot of people don't want to touch it because it's like, if you give someone an immense amount of power, what can they do with it? And that's kind of what The Boys does.
Yep.
Is they ask the question like, you give someone with power that like another person can't even comprehend or like defeat or beat or whatever, what are they going to do? And it's like, yeah, shockingly, they're going to do some fucked up shit.
Yeah, like you ask every 13-year-old boy what they do with the power to turn invisible, and they're going to go in the girls' bathroom at school. You think some like ultra powerful superhero that no one can touch is not going to do the same fucking thing?
Right. But okay, so with Firecracker, a great character. I think the best part, you don't see her use powers like whatsoever.
No, she's weak as hell. She's like really, really weak. The only reason she was brought in was for the PR.
It's PR. That's all it is. Which at this point is all most of the superheroes do, and they touch on that in Gen V. Because Gen V, when you go to the college, it's like Godolkin College or Godolkin University.
Mm-hmm.
There are two majors that you can go to, and one is crime fighting, and then one is just the arts or like performing arts.
Nice.
That's it. And it's like most people go to performing arts, and like they're all sitting here. They're like, "Oh, what kind of views do you have?" Not like political views, like how many likes do you have on the TikTok?
Mm-hmm. The TikTok.
Whereas, yeah, Firecracker is just pure PR nonsense.
She's basically just the Ben Shapiro of the show.
Yeah. Or the Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Although Alex Jones got his comeuppance. He got sued for a lot of money. Oh yeah. He slandered a lot of the families about Sandy Hook, which was a mass murder at a school.
Right.
Which is bad. And they sued him, and I think they won for like $1 billion, which he does not have.
Very cool.
Which is really cool. I mean, Sandy Hook is fucked up, but it's cool that there's some amount of karma in the world.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Firecracker is just
I think she was a very necessary addition. She made a lot of sense for this season.
Yeah. No, it made a lot of sense.
Apart from that, she doesn't have much use because again, she's really weak. Like,
yeah, as like for the actual like fighting portion,
like she's weak to the point where I think like a regular human could probably take her if they had combat skills.
Maybe. Well, I don't know, purely because I do think that a lot of people that are like on V, I think they all just have kind of a base like strength level that's just higher than humans.
They do, but like we saw Mother's Milk like sort of almost hold his own against like the deep and Black Noir to the point where he wasn't getting killed or anything. If you got like a trained MMA fighter against Firecracker, I reckon like if you got like a John Jones possible. Or something, I reckon probably take her. But yeah, the only fight we saw her in was fighting Starlight. Starlight didn't even really use her powers at that point, and she destroyed her.
Well, the entire season, Starlight didn't have powers, which
she still had a strength, but not like her
light.
But then end of the season, whoa, big power up.
Oh my god!
Out of fucking nowhere,
flew away.
Like really fast.
Pretty fast too.
I don't know if
like she's kind of been able to like float and like hover.
Yeah, but she like shot into the stratosphere at the end. I don't know if anyone's done any calculations because you could very easily calculate how fast she was going, how much energy that would require. But yeah, I'm interested to see what, because she definitely got a power up in that scene. I don't know what it was. I've seen some theories saying that she's unlocked the power to use the power from within herself, sort of like how Homelander can. He doesn't need like a sun to charge him up. Or she just can use the sun's energy now, which would be cool as well.
Yeah. It's weird because you could look at it and kind of go, well, there's no real reason except for like a mental block.
Yeah.
And it's that her power loss was just her story arc of the season of like mentally she's just kind of not herself. And then she kind of starts to figure herself out towards the end. Because she's painted as this like very good person for so long. And then I think she comes to terms with like, maybe I'm kind of a shitty person, but like I'm still trying to do good.
Kind of, I think the thing that pissed me off most about her, and I do understand it, was obviously we had the whole arc with Huey technically cheating on her with herself, her clone. And then when she
Yeah.
finds out, she's like, Huey, how could you do this to me? And I can understand being upset. Very upsetting thing having your partner
Sure.
be with someone else, even though that like it was still you.
They look
technically.
exactly like
'Cause
you.
the
They sound
clone-
exactly like you. They have all your memories.
Yeah, the clone took her memories as well. It was like a perfect copy pretty much. But she's like really mad at Huey for ages about it. I'm like, he can't do it. Like,
It's
what could he have done?
understandable.
She did forgive him pretty quickly, but I was kind of like, that's pretty shitty of you, Star. Like, I can understand being upset and needing to take it out on someone, but like he can't do anything about it,
But
man.
like, it's not. He's just such a small little guy. Poor Huey
Poor Huey.
has been getting just
I feel so
dogged
bad
all
for him, dude.
season. Poor guy.
The whole show, he's barely had any wins.
Who hates Jack Quaid?
A lot of people, honestly.
Who is it? But yeah, Sister Sage.
I thought she was really good.
What do you think? Yeah, I enjoyed the character. It was interesting to see a person where it wasn't actually about power, but about intelligence.
I agree.
Because that is something that Homelander has lacked in. Because he's not stupid, but he doesn't necessarily see the whole picture, and his ego gets in his way.
Yep.
And I think it was important for Sage to be there. I'm glad that she came back, because the way that she got kicked out from Homelander was kind of stupid. Well, not stupid, but like I don't think it would have painted her in as good of a light as it should have for quote unquote being the strongest person, smartest person. Sorry. So I'm glad that she kind of came back and she's like, no, I was planning this all along. I just kind of had to dip and let it happen.
Yep.
I
also, the thing I
like,
really appreciate about her character more than anything else is that she's not evil. She just is so intelligent. She sees humans as pawns to play with.
Yeah.
So while
like it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's like a challenge. It's like while Homelander does evil things because he's angry at the world or feels he's superior, it's like he just wants to kill everyone. She does it from a sense of like, oh, I'm just like playing The Sims. I just want to see what the fuck I can do. Can I make this man president and just ruin all other candidates? Yeah, fuck it, I can.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that about her. It makes her a bit more interesting.
It does. It's also, she had that whole speech where I think and if I'm trying to remember it correctly, where she's like, my dad got sick when I was like 11 or something like that, and I found a cure, but they didn't allow it. Like they didn't allow me to do it because they didn't believe a kid could do it. They didn't believe a woman could do it. They didn't believe like a black woman could do it. And she's like, at that point, I saw that like in the end, humanity is fucked up and humanity is going to kill itself somehow. I might as well have some fun here. Yeah. She's like, I could have cured cancer. I could have fucking saved the world.
I almost wonder
like,
if she's going to switch sides next season just to see if she can take down Homelander.
I'd be curious. It's also curious because, and she stated it herself, it's like her brain is like super intelligent and like is regenerative. But she said, she's like, if you shoot me in the heart, I'm dead.
Yeah. Weirdly, this is out of context, but her power works weirdly similar to a character in One Piece recently. But they both have the power of like their brain. It's a little bit different in One Piece. His name is Dr. Vegapunk. And he looks exactly like Albert Einstein or like the cartoonish version of Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is that his brain just keeps growing no matter what. It's like he has a head that's like 20 meters big at one point.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
So it's kind of like that in a sense. Her brain, it doesn't increase in size, which is weird. So I don't understand how she has more knowledge than other people, but it's just like constantly refreshing. Yeah, density and like, I guess the important information gets kept a lot more efficiently than other things, I guess. Or maybe she has access to all the memories while we don't.
Yeah. Well, it's also just one of those things of like, they're not going to explain all the science behind it. Because, yeah, you might be right that she might have to physically have a bigger brain to have more connections. But also it's like maybe the connections are like super, super tiny so she can have so much more, like it's denser.
Yeah.
It's a superhero show. You know, I don't know if there's science behind it, but it's, you know,
But I
at
will
this point,
say
I think we can just
that is the
believe it.
one type of like superpower the boys has been missing up until season 4 is a super smart person.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
nice to see that finally take place in the show. It shows how powerful, at the end of the day, it shows how powerful intellect is over strength in even in the real world. Like you can
The
get
pen
far.
truly is mightier than the sword.
Yep. True.
Wow. Learning moral lessons here on our podcast, folks.
Yeah, unless you have laser vision, then you can just kill the pen.
Or you can just kill the pen. That also works, yeah. I think
Tech
last
Knight?
new character is Tech Knight. He apparently comes up in Gen V, and maybe if I'm onto it, I'll talk about it next time. If I've gotten that
he's
far.
a freaky little
but
guy.
He's a freaky little guy. I think the concept is funny. Honestly, that the whole episode is so they break. Tech Knight is like a super rich soup who has the powers of just super senses.
Yeah, so he's kind of like a Batman-ish type character. But
He's
with
kind
more
of like
tech. So
yeah, he's like a rich person.
maybe like
it
it kind of reminds me of Arrow, but like the CW Arrow.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. But the boys are trying to sneak into his house because they're holding like a bunch of like congressmen and like stuff, and they're like, okay, we're gonna learn some good information from this. And they get in by disguising Huey as this superhero called Webslinger?
Webweaver.
Webweaver.
It was Spider-Man
go.
in this universe.
Who is Spider-Man kind of. He's more anatomically correct Spider-Man in that he shoots webs out of his butt.
Well, not his butt, a little hole above his butt.
Well, a little higher than the butt, but like, yeah, it's got a hole and it's weird.
He kind of farts it out. It's not really efficient.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Well, I think I don't know if it's not efficient or it's inefficient because he's a massive junkie. That could be it. He's
like,
massively
like it doesn't work
drugs
properly
and shit.
because he's just a junkie. I think the best part is they clearly didn't do enough research going into that mission because they get there and they're like, yeah, we don't really know why Tech Knight wants to talk to Webweaver, but like, just go in and figure it out. They should have done their research because it turns out that Tech Knight wanted Webweaver to be his sidekick, and not really sidekick in the sense of crime fighting, although I'm sure on the surface he will, but it's more in the sense of Tech Knight was into some weird, freaky BDSM stuff. And so was Webweaver, and not Huey. And poor Huey had to find out the hard way.
Yeah. It didn't get, like, it obviously a very traumatic experience. It didn't get too bad for him. Like, the worst thing was, what was even the worst thing that happened?
Well, so that really the two main things that we see is he, like, kind of takes his pants off and then farts on a cake.
Yeah, which is, I don't,
because that apparently works.
Like, when it comes to BDSM, like the ropes, chains, and shit, like I can understand the concept of being into it. The sitting on a chocolate cake and farting, I don't even know how the fuck you get to that being attractive.
It's weird, and I don't quite understand it. When I was at the panel, Anthony Starr did say that is a real thing.
I'm sure it is.
Some poor intern had to do their research and find weird sex things, or not an intern. I don't know. Someone had to do it. I just like the idea that some kid who's like, I'm gonna be on the writing staff, and they're like, go look at weird porn or weird sex stuff and come back. There's that, and then there's also Huey gets tied up, and Ashley actually gets to come in, and she tickles him
with a feather.
And gets off to that. So
yeah, both odd things, I would say.
Odd.
Can't say I would partake in them personally.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. Tech Knight doesn't last very long.
Nah. Well,
He dies that episode, and I think he's in like an episode prior, but he's just kind of like mentioned, or he's just like there.
he does a speech early
then
on at one of the
There's a
conferences.
speech, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I think he's in Gen V, but I don't know if it's a whole lot. Interesting character, but kind of not
I
necessarily.
think they maybe could have done more
Him
with him.
dying was cool.
The main thing was
Yeah.
they killed him, got access to his bank accounts, donated to Black Lives Matter, which made him very angry.
Oh god, that was funny. They threaten a man because of course they're like, okay, give us information. And they stab him, and well, he's a masochist because he's into weird shit, so he likes it. So they go, okay, cool. Clearly this doesn't work. We have to torture him in a different way. And he's like super right wing kind of guy. They torture him by donating his money to charities that he would hate.
Which is pretty funny.
That gave me a good chuckle.
Dude, 100 mil to Black Lives Matter is a crazy
100
amount
mil,
as well.
100 million is insane. That could save so many lives if only billionaires would do that. Anyways, that's besides the point.
For any Jimmy Beast was every man on the planet.
If only everyone was Jimmy Beast. I don't remember if I brought this up last time. I saw somewhere that Mr. Beast donated like 35 million in order to help get like trash out of the ocean.
Oh, that's
and
been
the comment right next.
That was a
The
pretty
comment
old
right
thing.
next to it. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Comment right next says Elon Musk has given Trump 45 million for his campaign. Just gonna leave that one there.
Also, oddly enough, after last episode where we talked about Mr. Beast for president, he actually made quite a few tweets saying like if they lowered the age,
did.
he would go for it.
We beat him to the punch.
Yeah.
We were topical. I know, I remember seeing that. He was like, if I could, I'd consider it.
I don't.
And honestly,
I still believe he would have a chance, for sure.
I think he'd have a chance.
Not this election if he got in, but like for the next one, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. Only time will tell. Let's see here. Okay, I got my notes are going through. I got new characters. I think that's all the new characters. Oh, there's a hat off. I'm watching, Dan. I'm
Don't
paying
worry.
attention.
Keep you on your toes, buddy.
I appreciate it. Best deaths. I'm trying to think if there's any. I mean, Newman's the good one. It's kinda the
That
shocking
random
one.
guy that got torn up by sheep.
Random guy that got torn up by sheep. That one's good. Murder Sheep episode was great.
Yeah.
I just appreciate.
Murder sheep.
I can appreciate Murder Sheep.
Murder sheep.
You gotta love it.
I wish they went with llamas, so then we could make like a llamas with hats reference for the show. That'd be cool.
That'd be
Unfortunate.
fun. Trying to think. I think the ice skating murder scene was pretty funny.
That was intense because it came out of fucking nowhere.
That was intense because it comes out of nowhere and they just like keep killing each other. Well, because it's that I think he lasered like only one of them.
Yep.
But like they go into pandemonium and I think someone like it's also they have sharp ice skates.
Yep.
And I think they just like someone like chops someone's neck. Someone I think like steps on someone's hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it goes over their hand. They lose their fingers.
Uh-huh.
It's honestly impressive how they managed to all die. Like that's.
I think a lot of
at
them
that
died.
point, it's on them. One person dies.
A little
Fair
bit.
enough. Panic. Take a chill pill, man. Just like.
Just stop killing people.
Go back to the
Just-
locker room.
It's just lasers coming from nowhere.
Have a
Don't worry
beer.
about it. Have a ciggy.
Yeah. That'll do the job.
Um,
One thing.
the Newman death. Oh,
Yeah, well, speaking about the Newman death, I thought in the same scene her daughter died, so I was really shocked when she was alive. I was
Oh.
so sure she got killed as well.
I don't think I had that train of thought. I think I was just too focused on Newman.
Because human.
Oh, it's that her daughter gets like tossed to the side.
Yeah, I thought that killed her. I didn't realize it wasn't lethal.
Yeah. Well, because she's a suit.
I still think
So
I
she
still
can
thought
take
Butcher
that.
just fucking yeeted her hard enough
That's
that it
that's
killed her.
fair.
So when I saw her alive again, I was like, oh, okay.
Sure. I did not expect Newman's death whatsoever. It's
Yeah,
also
no.
funny that, arguably speaking, they actually almost got Homelander, and Butcher actually ruins it by killing Newman.
Yeah.
Like I think going into like those final 10 minutes, you're like, you know what? They didn't win, but they didn't really lose either. And they might have some chance here. And then Butcher killed Newman, and then it all went to shit.
Yep.
Um,
Because like I haven't read the comics, of course, but from the images I've seen,
yeah.
the end of the show is kind of just like a Butcher solo mission, from what I've gathered.
Yeah.
So they're kind of going for that. I think it's going to be different than the comics, of course, but it does seem like
they've strayed a lot from the comics.
Billy's going on a solo murder spree. He's not going to listen to anyone. To be fair, I don't think he's himself anymore. He's fully embraced Joe Kessler at this point.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely curious to see what happens. I don't think Homelander or Butcher make it out of the next season.
Nah, I agree.
I think they both die. I think a lot of people will die. I think most of the boys will probably live. I could see like a Frenchie getting killed. I think Butcher and Homelander both die.
Yeah.
Especially because we know it's the last season. Let's see.
What do you think happens to Ashley?
Oh, yes. Okay, that is one of my notes. Oh my god, I don't know. I kind of forgot about her. Like towards the end, because she has like a little moment where she shoots herself up with V and she starts like changing in a weird way, and then like so much other stuff happened I completely forgot
Same.
about her. I had someone tell me a theory that she becomes kind of like a Hulk character,
That'd be cool.
which we don't have yet in the boys. Now, to be fair, it's because kind of everyone's strong, but they don't have like someone who changes into the Hulk kind of a
Also,
thing.
the boys kind of follows DC more, I feel, than Marvel in terms of like character similarities. You got you got Superman, you got Aquaman, you got Black Noir, who's kind of supposed to be Batman-ish.
Kind of Batman.
Obviously, A-Train is quick
Flash.
Flash, yeah. So obviously it's not rigid.
Queen Maeve is Wonder Woman.
It's not. It's pretty rigid. So you could always get a Hulk type character. Is there any?
Oh, for sure.
Is there any Hulk type DC characters I'm forgetting about? I don't think so. Off the top of my head.
Not that I can think of. I mean, there's big guys who are strong.
What's the who's the big strong boy that is in the Batman v Superman movie? Is it, or Man of Steel?
Oh, not Deathstroke.
It's from like a different planet, I think.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It could be that. What if Ashley kills Homelander? That'd be a crazy twist. That'd be kind of cool.
God, what is his name? This is bad. I should have this on lock.
I should as well. I'm blanking.
Um,
Yeah, because it's a character. He like the whole premise of the character in the DC comics is he can't die, or like no, he can die, but whenever he dies, Doomsday, yeah,
Doomsday.
So whenever Doomsday
There we
dies,
go.
correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever he dies, he comes
evolves.
back and he can't be killed by the same thing again.
Yeah.
So if you kill
And
him,
I can't remember if it's that he exactly dies or if it's more like once he's. It might be that he dies. I can't remember. I don't know if it's dies or just like
near death.
once he fights someone or like near death or something. Yeah, no, actually I think it's that once he dies from something,
Yeah.
he can't die from
So
it
if he
again.
dies from bullets, the next time he comes back, he can't die from bullets again. If he dies from
He's like
acid,
indestructible. Yeah.
So if we get that
kind
type of character
around those. I
with
don't
Ashley,
I don't think it's
Ooh.
exactly like that, but it's that like he keeps evolving.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd be curious what happens of Ashley. I'd be curious if she becomes important at all. Not to say she's not currently important, but like if her role next season is really important, or if it's just like oh, look what happened to Ashley.
I feel like
kind of a
they kind of
thing.
left on a really big cliffhanger. I feel like they wouldn't do that if it wasn't going to be significant next season. There's got to be something going on with that that's like
Yeah.
has something to do with the major plot moving forward. Whether it's someone that can possibly kill Homelander or just a massive threat to the world, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole thing with V that we've seen is that when people get powers, it sort of reflects their personality or experiences in some way. Huey teleports because
Mhm.
he's afraid and likes to run away. Or people said like when A-Train killed his girlfriend, if Huey was faster, instant teleportation, he could have saved her.
Yeah.
Homelander got the power. Butcher got the same powers as Homelander, at least the first time, because he hates him so much, and his whole life was spent trying to kill him. What other examples are there? There's definitely ones out there. Can't think. Huey's dad
I don't
walking through
know.
people. Maybe he's a thing of not
Yeah.
being seen. I don't know. But that's the whole
Yeah,
thing
or
is
like trying to get away from
you
people.
typically get powers based on either your experiences or your personality. So
Yeah.
what the fuck would Ashley get? She's a psycho.
Well, and so that's the thing of like I think a lot of people get their powers like they get V when they're really young. So I wonder if their powers are a lot more random because when they're young, they don't necessarily have that much of a personality. So their personality doesn't affect their powers. But you have the people getting compound V, or you have the people getting like V really late. And I don't know how much it'll. Yeah, I don't know if that has much of an effect. Maybe it's more of a story device of like, oh, this power just makes sense for the character.
Yeah.
So we gave them that. Maybe it's like, oh, well, this is what their character is like. So it makes a little bit more sense that like the power they get is a little more tied to them. Yeah, I don't know. I could see it. I mean, so all we saw was that like her body kind of started to change a little bit and like her wig came off.
Yeah.
And which I forgot about because they don't really mention it this season a whole lot.
No, they don't this season.
I don't know. I could see a Hulk-like thing or like an Abomination kind of
that's
thing.
what
Like
I was
feel like
thinking.
she's gonna not look good.
Do you think it's going to be a
Like, she's gonna
situation
weird, like,
where she
morph.
permanently turns into it, or do you think it's going to be a thing where she can go
Yeah.
back and forth?
I think it'll be permanent.
Because we don't have
She's very
any other example of a permanent change like that with anyone else. We haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think you get like little glimpses of like they show like more like reject soups. I can't remember where.
I guess you could argue
But
Web Weaver is a bit of a reject soup.
Web Weaver's a little bit. I think. Oh god, I feel like there's a scene where there's a bunch of soups who were like, just like fucked.
Probably.
Like their powers just don't really do anything. They look different. Although that might be a different show that I'm thinking of, and I can't think of it.
That sounds right.
Although it sounds right, I feel like there was an episode this season where there was like reject soups. I don't know.
Well, speaking about
that.
powers, I saw a TikTok. I get all my ideas from TikTok because I'm not original. But I saw a TikTok
Sure.
a few days ago talking about if, based on the theories we were talking about before, where Temp V or V gives you powers based off of you, your character, what powers would the rest of the boys had if they took Compound V? So Frenchie and Mother's Milk.
Oh. Yeah, because I guess that's the people who's left, because Kimiko and
Starlight
already
have powers, then Butcher
we've
we've
already
seen, and Huey we've seen. So out of those two, what do you reckon?
I feel like weirdly MM is just like strong. I can't like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of if there's something that can do with like his OCD.
So
Something related
that's
to
what
that.
someone mentioned in the video. It's like in the comics, he obviously the whole reason why he's called Mother's Milk is because his mum drinks V, or his mum has V, or like her breast milk has V in it. So he drinks her breast milk, and he's basically just a bit stronger, faster than the average human.
Okay.
It doesn't have that in the show. So if it's going based on the comics,
That's
yeah,
fair.
he'd just be a bit stronger, a bit faster. But basing off the OCD is definitely something I like. Don't know what it'd be though.
I'm just trying to think of what, like, would it be something where he's got super speed? Does he have super focus? Does like maybe time slow down for him? Because it's also, you got to see how does it relate to OCD, and then how does it relate to fighting? Because like that's kind of the interesting thing. The ability to actually purely and properly multitask, but I don't know how you do that.
Well, he could multiply,
he's only got
makes
one
clones
body.
of himself.
He could multiply potentially, or have like astral projections that kind of do stuff for him while he's in one spot.
I could see cloning make a lot of sense because another one of his big character things is he has such a internal conflict about whether to help the boys or be with his family. If he could clone himself, he could be in two places at once, and that'd be massively helpful. And we don't.
It's
I don't think
possible.
we've seen another cloning. Oh no, we have the fucking ass eating man.
Yeah.
So I think he could have his power or something similar. I could definitely see that.
I feel like it wouldn't be the same as like the guy who clones himself. I
No.
feel like I don't know why. I feel like astral projections
Yeah, that could be cool.
makes kind of where like he puts out like I don't know. It's not the like it splits off from him and it breaks his clothes and shit and like he comes out naked, but it's the like he makes like a projection of himself that can do things while he's doing things.
Hmm.
And it's almost like he can make something that goes and does a task, and then once the task is done, it's done. Like it just like dissipates.
That'd be cool.
I think that could be fun.
Then we have Frenchman.
Frenchie. I mean, I feel like he could like make someone hallucinate or something like that.
I
Would
was
make a
thinking
lot of
something to do with like
sense.
poisons or chemicals.
Poisons or yeah. It'd be something along those lines. He shoots poison. He can make people hallucinate.
I think the other one that I think could also work for him based on his past life, where he's like an assassin, it could also be. I know it's also in the show already, but is shapeshifting into different people.
Yeah,
That could also work for him quite well.
I could see that.
Or invisibility.
I could see shapeshifting, but it's more on like a lighter level of like he just shifts into someone. He doesn't have the like a memory stealing that the other.
Or
one had.
maybe it's like a what's the word? It's almost like a filter. So like he's there, but people can't really see him. It's like a perception filter. So it's not pure invisibility. He is still there. This is a concept that's done in Doctor Who quite a lot. But like you're not actually invisible, but there's a filter that basically means if you're not directly looking at or for someone, you just won't see them.
You don't
Kind
see
of like
them.
a thing in the corner of your eye. You won't notice them until you directly look at them. So basically, it's kind of like Sneak 100 in Skyrim. That's basically what his power would be. Which
He
could
can
work
do the
as well.
thing where even if you see him, you crouch and you're invisible for a second.
Yeah, the best
ever do
game
that?
mechanic of all. Of course.
Oh god, it's such a funny game mechanic. You can walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you," and then you hit crouch and you're invisible for like a second, and then you just kill them, and then you just keep doing that, and you just start killing people by just go like up and down, and you're getting like backstab like 10 times.
I think my favorite Skyrim bit of all time was that, but there's a specific skill you can get that if you crouch, you turn invisible for 3 seconds, and you can pair that with an actual invisibility spell. All you do is walk up to a person, say hello, crouch, go behind them, backstab, and just keep doing it over and over and over again.
Yep,
It's so broken.
it's fantastic. Yeah, I could see something like that for Frenchie.
So any other major characters
guess-
without powers that we could think about? I think that's kind of...
No, that's about it.
We could talk about Giancarlo
Stan Edgar.
Esposito, or whatever his name is. Edgar.
Despacito.
Edgar.
Yeah. Stan Edgar.
Yeah.
Gosh, what powers would he have? I feel like it wouldn't be strength related.
I feel like it'd be intelligence or manipulative type things.
Yeah. Yeah, he can do the kind of like Professor X, like kind of control you kind of thing.
Or like he can send a message to everyone's mind. Kind of like a worldwide protection.
Also like Professor X.
Yeah, but he can't read minds. He can only send messages.
Okay. He could be the evil professor. I could see him reading messages too. I could see him being an evil Professor X.
Yeah, well.
I actually could see that.
Because does
think
anyone
that would work
else
pretty
have
well.
mind reading in the show? I guess that could be
Not really.
him then. Yeah, that would make sense.
At least no one prominent that I can think of. There might be someone.
Could be a Gen V character we don't know of.
Could be a Gen V character.
Speaking of other characters without powers, Huey's mum. So
Yeah.
there's another theory that she might be a shapeshifter, which would... I'd feel real bad for Huey if that was the case, because
Oh, God.
it's just nothing would go his way. Because she does kind
I
of
could
come back out of nowhere. I know she's been speaking
She
to his
does.
dad for years, but she's just
Mhm.
from out of nowhere. She just comes back
Yeah.
right at the moment where like everything's going to shit.
Yeah.
And you could make the argument that the whole situation with his dad could have been orchestrated by her, the shapeshifter, to keep Huey away from the boys to try and split up their organization.
Mm.
I don't think it's the case, but it would be an interesting plotline.
I saw another theory. The plot line's weird to me because it kind of just ends and nothing really comes of it.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder if they just didn't. I don't know. I kind of wonder if because it's played by Simon Pegg, who fun little fact in the comics is what Huey looks like.
Well, he's based off him, yeah.
Huey, yeah, he looks a lot. He basically looks like Simon Pegg.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
and so
I'm
Simon
pretty
Pegg
sure
is his
Huey is
dad.
based off Simon Pegg. They want like when
He
the,
is,
when,
yeah.
when the comic was written,
Yeah.
they wanted Simon Pegg to play Huey, but it took too long for the show to get made.
Well, he looks exactly like it, and it's all I like the direction they went. I think it's funny that he's his dad. I wonder if they're like, all right, we just got to get Simon Pegg out of
I
here.
think
Like
so.
maybe he kind of walked up and went, all right, I want to be. Although he wasn't really in the last couple seasons, like
No, I think it was a
after season 1,
character.
he's not really in it.
I think it was important for character development, but I think more confusing.
It's
than,
a weird one.
It did come out of nowhere. His dad just randomly like, I'm dying. The more weird thing was the whole situation with his mum. Personally,
So-
I really dislike his mum as a character. I think she's awful.
Yeah.
Can't stand her, and she's just kind of
Uh,
left. Just kind of.
I saw an interesting theory that I don't think is true, but it's interesting. And this is a theory that came out before, I think, episode 5, when it's confirmed that Joe Kessler isn't real.
mhm.
The theory was that both Huey's mom and Joe Kessler
I saw this,
were
yeah.
figments of their imagination due to the Temp V.
Yeah.
Because you were starting to get it with like Butcher's wife, and it was obvious it wasn't her because she died, and we knew that. It's also every time you talk to Frank Kessler, like no one was there, and they finally confirmed that, but they never confirmed about his mom. Some people were saying that maybe his mom wasn't real at all and was just like a figment of the imagination for Huey.
Yeah. The only thing that's obviously it's not real because she put the V into Simon Pegg,
Yeah.
and that wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, she was definitely real.
I think she's real. It's a weird one because it kind of feels like it feels like they went into the season and they just went, what do we have Huey do? It felt like they went into the season and they're like, all right, every single person needs a character arc. And I kind of wonder if they sat there and went, I don't know how much of character arcs people are gonna have next season because shit's gonna get down. So there's less character arcs going on, and they're like, all right, let's give everyone something before we wrap this up. Because like Kimiko has one, Frenchie has one, like all of the boys kind of have a character arc this season of like a change in personality or not change of personality, but like change of perspective or like that kind of thing. I think they were like, what do we do with Huey? And they just did that.
Let's just torture him for 8 episodes, eh?
Let's just torture the poor man. Poor guy. How do we feel about Ryan this season?
Oh, Ryan. We haven't talked about Ryan yet.
I haven't talked about Ryan.
Understandably, a kid with basically 2 father figures growing up, going through puberty,
Mhm.
seemingly very conflicted. So conflicted to the point where I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do at this rate. He could join Homelander and kill the world, or kill Homelander. I really have no idea.
Well, I think where we're currently at is I'm pretty sure he is locked in that basement. I think.
No, I think.
Although
he
I
got
guess
out.
Butcher got out.
I think
no, because Butcher got out. So I guess
he
he's
must
not
have-
locked
No,
in that
he got
basement.
out. He killed.
Maybe.
He killed
I don't know.
the grandmother woman,
He killed Grace.
Grace, and then
And
it's like from that
then
interaction,
they didn't.
it seems like he's gonna side with Homelander, but I don't think he will.
I don't think he will. I just don't know.
I think he just doesn't want to be told what
I
to
don't
do.
know
I
what
think he's
he'll
gonna do his own thing. I don't know what that means for the series or
Yeah.
for his role.
I don't know.
I could see him having to kill Butcher.
Yeah. Him and Butcher having a big toss up.
I could
Big
see
tussle.
I could see Homelander killing. I could see Butcher killing Homelander and then Ryan killing Butcher to end it.
Ooh. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see where his character goes because every once in a while I'm like, okay, he's moving in the right direction. And then he's not. He kind of went back and forth. He seems to be getting a better idea of like, well, maybe Homelander's not that great.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't like less. Like there was the whole like puppet show where they're just singing about just fascist ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, maybe I don't like this.
He's a weird character because he's been set up from like season 1 to like he's the next Homelander, but I still feel like he's not there. I don't really know what they're trying to do with him.
I don't know either. And it's that they kind of keep teasing that he's going to be important, and then he kind of like he hasn't really done anything.
No, and it's not like he's had like a major training arc where he's more
importance.
powerful now. Like he's still weak compared to like
Yeah.
Homelander. So there's going to have to be some pretty significant change in him early next season if he's going to make any impact with the finale.
Yeah, and like it's also if he doesn't, I'm kind of fine with that. There's so many other characters that can be important that I don't really care if Ryan's not that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really see that happening a whole lot. Did you expect Newman to die whatsoever?
I didn't really think about it. No.
Okay. I kind of figured the president would have died. Or, oh God, I didn't think Newman was going to die. I was like, Newman slotted for season 5. There's no way she's out of it. She's out of it.
Well, well, there's always a chance, I guess.
Yes,
but I'm pretty sure
well,
she's
it does
out
beg
of
the question, can you bring her back? I think she's out of it because it's important that she died. The question is, do we see the actor? Potentially, she could do flashbacks, or she could do hallucinations, or
maybe the shapeshifter. The shapeshifter died.
No, shapeshifter's dead. Shapeshifter died.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like one of those, like it was a choking death, but it's one of those where it's like maybe you just knocked her out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Starlight said the words "I killed her," so
we can
kind of feel like she's dead. We're gonna go with she's dead, and if we're wrong, then we'll find out.
Right.
Yeah. Any more predictions for the next season?
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, I think those are all the major talking points from season 4.
So kind of major. I got one last one.
All right.
Before we go into like, do we have predictions? And then I got one more.
We can do this then, predictions.
Okay, sure. Parallels to real life, Dan. This show, you know, it mimics real life to a degree. Obviously, the superpower stuff isn't necessarily real.
No.
Some big controversy of the season was quote unquote was a more political. I think it was always political. However, it was very outright. I mean, I think at a point they were calling people just like alt-right, and they were just straight up like, it's crazy conservative whack jobs.
Yep.
How do you? Oh, we got are you adjusting here? Do we have another one coming?
My bandana's like going down here. It looks weird. I'm trying to like fix it.
I see that. Okay. Are you wearing a robe, Dan?
Have you just noticed?
No, I just like.
I've had it on for the past like.
You have had it
5 hours. We've been talking.
It looks comfy. It looks comfy.
It is very comfy.
That's nice. I don't know why. I just thought about it. No, I noticed that you had it. Anyways, parallels to real life.
Well,
thoughts, questions.
America moment in it, bruv.
Well, what's funny is they had to change the name of the finale.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, the name originally was Assassination Day, and it came out like, God, a day or two after Trump got shot at.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Staged, by the way, totally fake.
Yeah, I have thoughts. I'm curious.
I don't think it's fake, by the way.
I
think
no, it's probably not fake.
I could see Trump faking a lot of stuff. I don't think he's stupid enough to risk that.
It's a
little. It's too much.
But the thing is it feels like something that would happen in The Boys, where they go, let's stage an assassination, and then they look like a martyr on the other side.
Yeah.
I don't think this has really had that big of an impact. There's a lot of flaws with what happened, in the sense of like, Trump is fine. The people behind him is not, And the really kind of fucked up thing is A, someone died, B, people were injured. And Biden tried to reach out to essentially be like, hey, some of you guys are hurt. I'd love to talk to you and just make sure you're doing okay. And they said no, because they were like stark Trump supporters. And then Trump went golfing and never reached out to these victims. And I think that's kind of fucked up.
But hey, we got some hard ass fucking photos. Trump with his fist up, ear bleeding, goes crazy.
It's kind of not. God, look, I don't like the man, but goddamn, is he entertaining?
Yeah,
you gotta give him that.
Again, he should be the host. He should be like a
yeah.
talk show host, not a president.
Well, he was a talk show host.
Yeah, should go back.
Should have stayed that way.
Yeah.
I do believe there's a quote from Eric Kripke, the writer and producer, where he's basically like, yeah, no, Homelander is definitely an homage to Trump. Like, the parallels are there. And the funny thing is, this was shot like a year ago.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how similar things ended up.
Still pretty accurate. And like they make a really good point in the show of like, how do they take power? Well, it's not by doing it through brute force. It's by just convincing a bunch of people into something that's not real.
Yeah, like NFTs.
Like NFTs. Imagine if there was an NFT arc on The Boys.
God.
Actually, they bring up NFTs.
They do. I don't know. I kind of see Homelander as like Trump and Jake Paul combined.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I don't think we really get a Biden comparison.
No,
I don't
not
think Biden's
really.
Interesting enough to really make a comparison to.
Because the other presidential candidate is just like an actual decent candidate. There's not too much wrong with him.
With Biden out and Kamala in, I've seen comparisons where people are like, Kamala to Biden is like Newman to Trump.
Yeah.
Or Newman to Homelander.
Which, let's not make that the comparison, because then Kamala's getting finished.
Dead. Yes. But I thought that was funny. Don't know necessarily how accurate it is, but I don't know. I kind of see it. Yeah, a lot of interesting parallels. It didn't bother me. There were some people who were like, this is I hate this. This is pissing me off. Well, that's kind of who the show's been making fun of this entire time. They've just ramped it up. That's all it's never been. I think there are people who don't think about the more subtleties of the show and maybe the more intellectual parts of the show, and they just see the murder and the gore and they're like, yeah, woo, this is exciting. And then they got to season 4 and they're like, wait a second, they've been talking about me this whole time. And I think that's great.
Pretty good.
Like, yeah, it's good stuff.
How real, obviously with superpowers aside, how realistic do you think the idea of the Boys plot is possible in real life with like all the shit that's happened with like vice presidents getting murdered and candidates who probably shouldn't have won now rising to presidency?
Sure.
Like,
well, I don't think vice president has been murdered anytime recently. I think there's similarities. Obviously, not everything's super accurate. I think the whole like it's the whole like Homelander kind of stands is really similar, is pretty similar to real life. I think it's exaggerated. But I do think there are a lot of similarities to like people who are diehard Homelander fans will just see Homelander do something that is just objectively wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe even objectively bad.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm glad I got a little smile out of you. I gotta get it sometimes. And they're just like, whatever. It's fine. He's saying what I want to hear. And that's kind of accurate. Obviously, it's not everyone. But I mean, in The Boys, it's not everyone.
This is where I start to believe in the theory of NPCs a lot more. Because I think you can relate to me with this. And I don't know. And this is coming from me being like I'm not really super strong about like politics or religion or anything, but I just don't understand how you can blindly follow someone like with everything they say or do and just not question it at all. I don't understand how you even get in that mindset in the first place.
Yeah.
So like,
I think it takes it's a weird way to say it, but it takes a burden off your shoulders to be stupid.
yeah,
Because boy, not thinking is really fun. I mean, that's why so many people do drugs.
true.
Is like not thinking. A lot of problems that we have in life is from thinking.
I guess it's either not thinking or like indoctrination from youth is probably the two pipelines.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing is like indoctrination. Yeah, coming from the youth is pretty often
because that's why Homelander
because if you've been taught
is the way he is because he was brought up on all that propaganda.
Yeah. And he had a fucked up childhood. I mean, that's the sum of a lot of people's problems. But yeah, I mean, if someone has been telling you for the first 18 years of your life that something's one way, if someone tells you no, it's not, it's kind of hard to be like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to listen to you and we're going to see. A lot of people are like, no, there's no way I'm fundamentally wrong. So I'm just going to yell at you and disagree with you instead. And obviously, most people don't do that. I think we see so much crazy in the world, and it's more like the crazies are just loud.
Yeah.
And the normal people don't have the need to say what they need to say because it's just normal stuff.
I do think that's one thing being on the internet you need to really remind yourself of all the time is the most vocal people anywhere are always the ones with the most divisive or like far out opinions. Like when it comes to politics, religion, like the big ones that's been everywhere recently is like dating. Every guy seems to be shitting on girls. Every girl seems to be shitting on guys. Most normal guys and girls aren't like that rude or mean to each other for no reason. It's just like the people on social media looking for attention. So it's very important to remind yourself that most people are pretty normal, which is a good thing to remember when you do have shows like The Boys showing the extremes. Because if you do take it for the exact representation for reality, which it's not far off.
It's not real. It's fake.
But it's not real, yeah.
But it's not real. Now it also, what The Boys also doesn't show is all the normal people who go about their day and don't have these opinions. It's showing the crazy people. And that's like,
because normal people are boring.
Because it's more interesting. Well, yeah, why would you show normal people? It's not interesting. I think that's where it parallels assassination attempts. Well, I guess technically we had one recently. Yeah. I don't know. It feels like so not real, even though it is. And I think that's just the internet.
Probably.
Like, it's the internet. It's also like, I mean, I think we're so desensitized to like shootings because they happen. There was another shooting that happened that day that like no one talked about.
Again, America moment.
Yeah. I think it's that we're so desensitized to like a shooting that we're like, yeah, I guess someone pulled a gun. I think there's also just so much like political behind it that you go, okay, Trump was shot at, but let's think about the implications here, not what actually happened. Where like, it also, in the end, he's fine.
Yeah.
His ear got hit, and there's a lot of theories out there that he actually didn't even get hit by a bullet. He got hit by like a shard of a teleprompter or a shard of something. Mainly because he didn't really sustain any damage. Like I think his ear is like fine.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day with that situation, it's also the physical damage more than mental damage. Because I think that he did a press conference a couple of days after. He did generally seem a bit shaken up.
He did seem, which like fair. And obviously I don't wish ill harm onto anyone, even if it's easy to wish ill harm.
The most annoying thing after was seeing people on Twitter like pissed off that the guy missed and everything. I'm like, as much as you hate the dude, like, don't wish death upon people for no reason. Like, come on.
It's like, look, is it a little bit of a funny joke? Haha, you're an inch off. Yeah, it's a little funny. But at the end of the day, no, you shouldn't wish death upon someone. As bad as it is. Because look, if he gets out of, honestly, if he just wasn't campaigning for president, I'd be like, it's whatever. He's just another scumbag businessman. Yeah.
Because
But anyways,
think
I'd
about how
say
many people there are worse than Trump that could be running for office.
that is true.
That's look at the bright side of things. It could be
Oh
worse.
God, is that where we're at the point of bright sides?
Maybe. Because okay, the country didn't fall apart in the 4 years he was in charge. What if like who's worse that we could think of off the top of our heads?
This isn't helping our case.
No, I feel like Jeff Bezos would be pretty bad considering how Amazon workers are treated.
Yeah. I mean Elon Musk. I think that'd be bad.
I feel like he'd just be similar to Trump.
That's true. I think that's why I didn't think of it.
Although I think the positive about Elon, I think there'd be a lot higher leaps and bounds in like technology and space travel, which would be cool.
I could see that, but he's also crazy.
That as well.
So I don't know, because there are points where I'm like, you know what, Elon does have like he supports a lot of new and interesting technologies, but then I look at him and I'm like, there's so many problems. But anyways,
bro, have you seen his Elden Ring build?
People.
Crazy.
Now that's a good reason to judge someone by.
It was
alone. That's the
wild.
only reason. It's pretty bad. Final question for the day. Kind of relating to the boys, but well, I guess relating to the boys. Do you think the boys coming out? Oh, we got one final piece of clothing, or I guess accessory, has come off. Anyways, Dan is now for all you audio listeners out there. Dan is now taking the sunglasses off and just has a bandana on. He's also wearing a shirt.
Oh no!
I guess.
Subscribe to the Patreon if you want more.
Subscribe.
We don't have one.
We don't have one.
But hey,
maybe one day. Maybe.
Go on.
Wow, I lost. Oh, do you think the boys and the format and like the thoughts it kind of brings up? Do you think it affects future superhero content?
Yeah, I think. I don't think it will affect.
I think
like
yes and
I don't
no.
think it will affect like a Marvel that much because they're kind of just in their own lane at this point. I think it will affect future original stories. I think people are going to be more comfortable doing darker things now, which I'm happy about.
And I think that comes with like there's other things that are darker that coming out, and even like the first R-rated comic book movie I think was Logan, came out in 2016. There might have been one.
Deadpool.
Actually, there was probably one before.
Was Deadpool before Logan?
I think was before. All right, let me do it.
Logan or Deadpool, either way. Yeah, even shows like Invincible as well, also sort of carving the path for like more dark.
Oh no, it was Blade.
Oh,
I'm wrong.
Yeah, but even Invincible's carving the path for more R-rated superhero films. Because like at the end of the day, superheroes, they fight and kill with strong powers that would destroy any regular human. It makes sense that there's a lot of blood and gore. And I understand why Marvel movies don't show it because it's for the family. But I'm happy with.
Well, and that's the thing.
Happy we're getting shows that
depends
do
on the
show that now.
No, I agree. I think it'll be more like independent or original content. I don't think Marvel or DC will do it. Maybe they'll be more open to having an R-rated movie or show. Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be the first like technical like Marvel like MCU R-rated movie. We'll see how it is. I don't think it'll really be that similar to The Boys, but I also think they're just going to follow the Deadpool scripts rather than like The Boys.
The R-rated side of Deadpool is more like sexual jokes rather than gore and violence.
It's gore and it's cursing and it's quips and it's a lot more lighthearted, but it is like R-rated. It's still kind of campy, which fits the more Marvel theme. I'd be curious if like maybe Marvel sees this and goes, you know what, we can actually put out some R-rated content. I could see DC doing it as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many good stories from the comic books of Marvel and DC that could be R-rated.
Yeah,
so many good ones. I think like there's a lot of really great Hulk comics that could easily be R-rated.
Well, it's also for the R rating. like I don't think Marvel or DC will ever go to the extent that The Boys did with their R rating. But yeah, there's a lot more like gore and kind of violence you can put in. And I think there can be a bigger impact in a fight scene if you're allowed a little bit more gore. Because sometimes a really strong character doesn't necessarily come off if it's like they punch someone and then they just get launched. But like if you can hear like the crunch and like you see the blood and that kind of thing, it can be a little more the teeth knocked out, the bones in like a weird mangled like way. I think it can have a better impact. Does an R rating make something better or worse? Not necessarily. I think it is about the style that you're going for, but I do think there's a lot of good and interesting styles that come out of an R rating. I mean, I think Deadpool standalone without an R rating wouldn't really feel right. No. I think Deadpool will be fine in like a team setting. You just make him not curse. You maybe even make a joke about him not cursing. Or like maybe instead of saying fuck, he says like heck, or like it throws, and he's like, wait, no, I meant to say, and then he keeps saying the word, and you can get kind of a funny joke out of it. Yeah, I could see The Boys and Invincible coming out at around the same time, at least when they first started. I think kind of introduced to like, oh, we can do some more R-rated things. And some more like you can stray a little bit away from the norm, but also like there was Kick-Ass, which might be R-rated. I don't actually know. I haven't seen Kick-Ass.
Me neither.
Google isn't telling. Yeah, it's R-rated. But I don't think Kick-Ass was necessarily that big, where I think The Boys and like Invincible has gotten a lot bigger than that. I think it kind of gives him the opportunity. Is Marvel going to change because of this? God, no. But
yeah. No, I think it will.
You look tired, big guy.
I am a bit, to be honest.
You need to take a nap.
I do.
You need to take a little bit of a nap.
I do.
I can see it in your face. You need to sleep more than 1 hour.
It's a rough world I hear, man. I got the thing, like, when you have like a school trip the next day and you just can't sleep. It was kind of like me. That was kind of like me this morning. Like I knew we were getting up to call early and doing the podcast recording. I just couldn't fucking fall asleep, man.
You were just excited to see me.
In multiple ways.
Oh, you love to see it.
Well,
Dan, you got any final thoughts for us today?
I could not come up with a thought if I tried.
That is fair. Well, for everyone listening, thank you. We appreciate it. Keep listening. We're going to keep on with this once every 2 weeks or once a fortnight.
Yep.
Just works better for our schedules. As you can tell, Dan is a sleepy man. If there's anything that you guys want us to talk about on the next episode or a future episode, please let us know in the comments. Let us know if you have any thoughts or don't. You can keep them to yourselves. That's up to you. Thank you for listening, guys, and we will see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.